With our data points for the glazed donut plotted on the screen, we know that our customer survey data contains a number of responses for each of the ages, and the ages run along the x-axis, so the lower ages are on the left and the higher are on the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to scale the points according to the number of responses for the particular age. So let's go to the code, and we'll head to surveydata.js. So what we're looking to use is this property here, responses, and then we'll use its value to scale the data. It has lots of different values. It looks like the minimum value is 1 and the maximum is 7. So we'll use that in just a moment. Let's head to index.html and scroll down to where we set the radius attribute at line 47. Now instead of just hard coding it to 2, we'll type function, open and close parentheses, and put a D in there, and then open and close curly brackets. And we'll return d.responses. Let's put a semicolon there, save that, and head to the web page and refresh. And now we have some scaled data. But maybe it's a little too subtle. The biggest circle versus the smallest circle does have a pretty good difference, but it's the in-between values that need a little bit more help visually to give them a good differentiation. So let's head back to the code, and what we're going to do is we'll create a scale that we can use in order to scale the size of the points. Just after the creation of the y-scale, we'll create a variable called response scale, and we'll set that equal to d3.scale.linear. So just like we created a scale for the x and y axis data, we can use scales really for any piece of information because they provide us an easy way to take a domain and scale it up to a range. So the domain here will be .domain, and we'll get the minimum and maximum values of the responses. So that'll be d3.extent, and open and close parentheses, pass the data set, and use an accessor function. And we want to access d.responses. And for the range, .range, open and close parentheses, open and close brackets. Now the smallest radius that we'll use, which will be 2, and the largest, which will be 15. Save that, head down. Now we want to pass responses at line 53 into response scale, and open the parentheses and close them. So now it's being passed into that function. Save it and head to the web page, refresh. So now the dots have been scaled much more dramatically, and those ages with a higher response rate have much larger circles compared to those with a smaller response rate. And also, we've used a linear scale to more flexibly change the scaling later. So if we head back to the code, if we wanted way more dramatic scaling, we could just change the range of the response scale. So let's say it's from 2 to 20. Save it, refresh, and you can see that that's much more dramatic. So don't forget that you can use linear scales, ordinal scales, and other kinds of scales in D3 in order to scale up other properties within your dataset. And they're not just limited to axes.